going on, everybody? Welcome to the Tap Out Podcast Network. I'm Nick McDaniel. He's Myron Fancher. How the heck are you, buddy?
I'm doing good, and we're doing it again. Back in the chairs. Back to get this done. Back to give commentary on a lot of new things this week, Nick. A lot of crazy stuff.
There is a lot of good news we want to get into across the board, but as always, we encourage you before we get started, man, make sure you're signing up, man. We get it. Like, we got a lot of people who are YouTube, watchers. Subscribe, turn your notifications bell on, all that good stuff on YouTube. And we appreciate everybody who watches there on YouTube every single week. We got a ton of people, Myron. I'm not sure if you're aware. Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Podcast. We're on the big three for sure. A lot of other ones as well. Check us out. Make sure you're subscribing. And, hey, give us a 5-star rating and review, etc. on there. But, of course, our favorite home of all homes for the Tapped Out Pod is patreon.com/Tapped Out Pod. We have a whole conversation every week about $1 gets you the show notes, $5 gets you the, everything as far as their weekly shows. You get those early. $10 gets you everything we do weekly early, as well as the digital version of the Tapped Out Collectibles exclusive just for our Patreon members. And, of course, at the $25 level, you're actually going to get the physical 8.5 by 11 version of that Tapped Out Collectibles. This past month in October, kind of fitting for Halloween, we did the current MLW World Heavyweight Champion, Cruel, and we gave you 2 covers, a variant cover on top of the regular. So 2 8.5 by 11 signed by the MLW World Heavyweight Champion for $25.
That's an amazing deal. But I also mainly tell people about our free tier, just to get your toe in the water and find out and get Phil Stepper's list of all the independent wrestling shows in the country, maybe the world. I don't know. Does he put the world on there?
It's everywhere in the country. There actually occasionally I do see some. Now that I think about it, I have seen some Japans on there and stuff as well. But but hey, it's anywhere in the country. It's a great follow. And listeners, we've had a little conversation before we recorded. Come the beginning of the new year, the free tier is going to probably gain a little bit of value as well. So that's, my opinion. We'll get into that over the next few weeks, month, and heading into the new year as we look at maybe doing some reformatting, shuffling, changing into the shows that we do here on the Tapped Out Podcast Network. Listen, let's jump right into the opening thing we always talk about every single week, and boy, was there ever a few things this week. What caught our eye on TV this week?
Wow. The Cena Tournament. Still haven't decorated my tree yet. I got to get my tree up and put my John Cena Christmas ornament on there again this year, as is traditional in my family. A tournament to decide John Cena's last appointment. Well, last opponent, not appointment. Nick, how wild is that? They had the balls in the turning thing. And people, I felt old school. I really, really thought this was cool. What are your takes on it?
Listen, I think the tournament, I actually like it. I think it builds excitement over the next month or plus, as we're heading it. So month and a half, call it whatever, going into his final match. And, they tease it's going to be Raw people, SmackDown people, NXT people, maybe some people that don't even work there. That's kind of intriguing a little bit. Folks, just want to give the record. Ain't nobody from AEW showing up, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. But that doesn't take off the table. There's one that I'm going to get to in a minute that I think is a
surprise.
Can't miss. Yeah, I think there's a home run hit they could do, and we'll get to that here in a second. But as far as the tournament itself goes, I am intrigued.
Well, what's going to happen tonight? We're recording on Tuesday. You'll hear this after NXT. You think there's going to be any announcements made on NXT tonight? How many matches? Are they going to get a match or two?
Well, the tournament starts next Monday on Raw.
Uh-huh.
But I think, look, CM Punk in his promo on Raw, he takes a jab. Hey, John, if you want to be the 18-time world champion, I'm the champ. Come get it. Kind of like, okay, cool. Listen, I don't think that's happening. I think they're cool with the 17 and done. But look, we've heard the rumors are out there, right? Like, are we just going to do the rumored path is it's Gunther? That's just the rumored path.
That's what I'm hoping.
So Gunther just gets to beat the crap out of a bunch of people to get to earn the right to face John Cena in his final match. And Gunther was in the video, by the way. So there is that. Are you okay with that, or do you wish it was just they just
That's
throw
what
us
I
off and swerve
want.
us all?
That's what I want. But now that John opened it up to so many other possibilities, this is where I'm really getting super interested. Like, what if we say his name and he appears?
Could be.
He doesn't work there, you know.
Technically, he does not. Yeah.
How about what if it's Moose? All the crazy things that are. I mean, I'm not throwing Moose out there as what I think is the best TNA has to offer, but it's a possibility now.
Hey, I'll throw a wild card for it because we're going down the TNA path. No connection, no major connection. But what about Bully Ray?
Oh.
What about one of the Hardys?
Oh man! After the Hardys lost their title on Halloween Havoc, man, that was a crazy match. Totally one-sided match in my opinion. But I don't know. And when I'm watching wrestling again because I want an answer or something, because I want to know what's going to happen, that's exciting. And it gives me a little something to be, on a bad day, it's like, oh man, today was horrible. But tonight on wrestling, I get to find out who's the next. Or if I get to find out who wins this, if they're doing something I care about, which is important to me,
And here's my thing. We were kind of trying to figure out the path. Obviously, they start on the 10th, and they're kind of got to roll. We are intrigued. Is it Raw going to get 4 matches? SmackDown's going to get 4. That's your first 8 matches, 16 people in the tournament, etc. And then you kind of whittle it down, or is it going to stretch out the first round? Is it going to be longer? Like, do they go maybe 2 or 3 matches, stretching it out over weeks? I hope so, because now I'm going to jump into one that I think would be a cool opportunity for them to do. November 17th, Madison Square Garden. There's a surprise entrant into the tournament. I don't care who he faces. It doesn't really matter. Matt Cardona's music hits. They have a history. He's the Long Island guy. Like, how cool would it be just to be Madison Square Garden, Matt Cardona's music hits, and he's in the tournament for a shot to face John Cena.
He's worked some NXT lately. He's worked some NWA lately. Didn't he just work a Juggalo Championship Wrestling?
He's the Juggalo champion now. Yeah.
That part is bizarre, but
can I ask you something? I'm gonna tangent because you said that. So I was listening to Something to Wrestle. By the way, hot take: JBL's better than Bruce on the show.
That's in either way. There's different ways they're better.
Yes, I agree. But so he really put over the Juggalo promotion, talking about how good they are, whatever. I jumped on YouTube and took a look. I think you'll kind of be surprised. I think it's probably better than you think. Even
with Vince Russo part owner.
Vince Russo comes in the thing, and the first thing he does is he puts the main title on Matt Cardona. Knock that for me.
Okay, not a bad decision. Not a bad decision. So, I think there's probably like a barrier they're going to have to get over to get people to watch it, though.
Sure, no, I get that, but my point is, it's actually not as. Give it a try. Go check it out on YouTube, and give them we'll give them a watch. But anyway, back to my point. Cardona, listen, do I think Cardona's going to win? No, absolutely not. I don't think he's going to win, and I don't think he's going to be John Cena's. But it would be cool if he picked up a first-round win at Madison Square Garden, and then he maybe loses in the next round.
I think there's going to be these stamps they're going to give people. Like, here's your stamp of approval. This making it into the tournament means this. Hell, Shinsuke Nakamura, he's been on a couple of times lately, but he needs a bump
people may be overlooking. I'm going to ask you this. Do you realize he's going to be in the house for those 2 Raws? John Cena is. He's on the 10th, and he's on the 17th Raw, where the tournament starts. He can do anything as far as endorsing a guy, coming out, shaking a guy's hand. He will physically be there to interact with anybody who wins the first round matches. What if John Cena, by the way, you want to spike some ratings? Put John Cena at commentary for all of the matches.
Oh, now you're talking my language.
Because then John Cena is peppered through the whole show.
Yeah. Give me as much Cena as possible on that show. The last few Cenas, I want all Cena all the time.
John Cena can tell stories why He'd love to face this guy. Love to face this guy. Give the history lesson of the history they have against each other with guys that he has this long running history with. Tell that story while they're in the ring. Why it matters that this guy should be the guy.
How are you not working for the Fed right now, man? There were some damn good ideas.
I'm just saying, like, I think.
You want to book
exactly.
Nick?
TapTapPod@gmail.com. Yeah. So, I'm really intrigued. I'm kind of excited where they're heading with this. And I get it. A lot of people are like, oh, boo, this is the best they could do. And I'm like, dude, I disagree. I think this is a good way. Because here's the thing. They're going to be pissed. There's going to be a lot of the wrestling community is going to be pissed if they picked a guy. If they just picked Gunther, oh, it should have been this, and they picked the wrong guy, whatever. Like, hey, how about we just make it intriguing a long way for the next 3-4 weeks, with matches building to it, and along the way they at least kind of quasi have you guessing. You're not like for sure. We're honestly, I'm still standing by my thing. Have him wrestle Dom at Survivor Series.
Oh.
He beats, and then guess what? If he beats Dom at Survivor Series, it's after all of his appearances. He only has one left. So the only way Dom can get his title back is he has to win the tournament of some kind of fashion or way to become the guy to get a shot to be the last match to get his title back.
But they got so much build going on right now with Dom, which I was having trouble with last night because they were cheering for Dom. Oh, that soccer cheer I hate. But they were cheering for Dom and bashing Dom. They popped for when Rey said Eddie Guerrero. That was such a weird emotional roller coaster watching that promo those two did.
They're in a weird place. So let's get into that. We'll jump ahead a little bit. Rey and Dom at Mania. That's kind of where we're going. We all believe that. So that kind of, look, I get it. Me making that statement kind of completely, does it derail the whole conversation with like the Cena match happening, etc.? I don't think so. You could tell 2 stories with Dom at a time. Do we remember the Bloodline having like 3 or 4 stories going on at a time?
Yeah.
It's doable if done correctly. So, but I think, we've heard like the thing is Rey wants to wrestle Dom at Mania, make it hair versus mask versus title, something, whatever. I like the hair versus mask. I think that's a lucha thing.
Yeah.
And obviously, but here's the question. I'm going to throw a curveball at everybody. We all naturally assume because Dom right now is. I had somebody arguing with this case with me. I can't remember if it was on the air or off the air. Figure that math out. Who it is? Dom's the most over babyface they have.
Yeah, he's the coolest heel ever. He's the Stone Cold Steve Austin of this generation.
So here's the weird one. What if this match does not happen at WrestleMania? I have another place I think it'd be more unique to take place at.
Triple Mania?
Well, that's too far away, but AAA in general.
Yeah.
One of their big shows. What if that match happens at AAA instead? You know why? With all due respect, they'll appreciate the mask versus hair match way better than any WWE crowd.
And it'll draw eyes from the regular WWE crowd who doesn't understand AAA to go watch the AAA show.
Bingo. If that match main evented one of their big cards down in AAA, the American base watches it because they're intrigued. They're going to watch it on YouTube or whatever. Oh, by the way, what if they just happen to get some type of distribution deal before that match happens? So the first pay-per-view that, PLE they have for AAA, that's the main event. Because Dom, by the way, do we forget Dom holds their big title down there?
Oh, yeah. He's got that big.
So what if it's for that title, not the Intercontinental title? It's mask versus that title. Because what are they arguing? Dom's the greatest luchador of all time. So put that AAA mega title on the line versus Rey Mysterio's mask and do it at a AAA show, not necessarily at a Mania.
I'm a big fan of your booking there, sir. I'm a big fan of your
weird
booking.
Take. But I would love to know your thoughts on that. TappedOutPod@gmail.com. The other thing that caught our eye, obviously, this week is Logan Paul in the Vision, apparently, question mark.
Here are my nuts. I don't know what to go with that. This is that you get really confused about the Vision. Seth Rollins is gone. We need somebody. Do we need somebody? I mean, I love them come down to the ring in those old Steiner looking jackets. But is it more that do you need more than a tag team? Do you need a third man?
The math's starting to math. This now the War Games thing is starting to make a little sense.
Okay. Well, you still got one more.
If you're going to add Brock,
oh.
Now you're at 4, and you need the 5.
And then you got, I mean, with you've got more internal. You can create internal struggles immediately.
Here's a weird one. Or is it they add a tag team, like the old Horseman philosophy, where there's a tag team, and then there's 3 dudes. Doesn't matter. I think that's how we potentially get to War Games, obviously at Survivor Series, because then you can have Punk, Jay, and you assemble a team of baby faces, just to take them on. Because over the next 3 weeks or so, this vision, they're just going to do what they've done in the past, create total chaos and attack everybody, build a bunch of enemies up to justify having a 5-on-5 War Games. My honest question, though, is how can Logan Paul and Braun Breaker specifically, can they even remotely coexist in this team? Because they obviously both want to be the top guy.
We have drama. Drama makes them happy. I like this a lot, folks. You can tell I would like this kind of stuff. This is old school. Let me tune in to see what's going on. I like this.
Paul. Yeah. Clearly, the backstage stuff with Jay. Maybe they're doing the tease. That's just all. Who knows? He told him he has vision of his own or whatever. Listen, I'm not above saying put Jay over there, but the problem is it's just the coexisting of the teams. I just don't see it happening. Brock makes sense because he's a hired gun that Paul can just kind of bring in, and they've already had conversations on TV, so makes total sense. Is it? Look, we've heard the rumor of Austin Theory being the 5th one. If it's Brock and then it's Austin Theory to kind of boost, because then you got to think about this. I will say the only reason I like that, you have the monster Brock, obviously, and then you really have 3 young guys. Bronson Reed's relatively young, 4 relatively young guys that you can build off of that group, and I do like that piece of it.
Hey, that's great.
It's always going to come about. Who's the guy? Here's the only reason here. You want to know why I like the Brock move? If you put Brock Lesnar in there, we've established who the alpha is.
Yes. And that
until Braun Breaker's ready to challenge Brock Lesnar.
Yeah. So and that's something that happened in the Survivor Series.
Oh, no, that's a Mania thing. The implosion happens between now and Mania, and they face at Mania.
Well, we've got basically video evidence that Brock's going to be at Mania.
Mm-hmm.
When they're all playing their cards at their card game.
So, but that's our thoughts on what happened this week on the TV as far as with the weekly TV shows. But look, Saturday Night Main Event happened. Obviously, Saturday night I was at a show. I'm sure you probably picked it up on Sunday and watched it because that's kind of how you do. We kind of had a borderline. I waffled. So the question we asked is, NBCUniversal, are they already having buyer's remorse for Saturday Night Main Event? Just based on the feedback, right, of, hey, blah, 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 this person complaining, that person complaining, all on social media. Shocking, somebody's complaining on social media. But then we asked, I'm like, do you think NBCUniversal really cares that, that the IWC wanted, well, they should have had this guy win, or they should have had Drew win, or whatever. Folks, a smart man once told me, WWE/TKO/NBCUniversal doesn't give a shit who you think should be the world champion. They want you to watch, and that's it.
Yes. Once you watch, you're theirs. They've got what they want out of you. I haven't seen a number on this show yet. I thought it was a perfect show for this kind of thing. You got 4 big matches, which I enjoyed. I really enjoyed the triple threat match. I think that was probably one of your highlights of the night. The women's match was good. Cody and Drew, I think I've seen this dance before. CM Punk defeated Uso. There's nothing to complain about on this, Nick. How would you complain about a card where you got 4 big, awesome matches with 2 title changes?
I get it. I mean, people are arguing like, hey, they're booking Drew as a loser. He always loses the big matches, and he's, blah, blah, blah. Jade winning made sense at the time for the story. We joked about it a minute ago. You got to take the belt off of Dom, who's probably arguably one of your most over guys in the company, heel or babyface. Is he basically the Cena? Where, half the crowd loves him, half the crowd hates him, but they got some emotion over him.
But all of them are
and
watching.
That's all that matters. Yeah.
And the thing is, it really established Penta and Rusev to be in that match.
No, I agree. I just think, and then the last but not least, one of my favorite moments, I'm not going to lie to you, by the way, it's hilarious. CM Punk, Jey Uso, they have a really solid match. Punk's your new world champion, and the internet is all like, there's clips of Jey Uso, pulling his knee pads down and junk, and everybody's like, oh, he's really mad. He's really pissed about losing. He hates it, whatever. And another smart man told me, he goes, actually, if you go back and watch the video, you can actually see one of the camera guys going, Myron, you can see him on camera going, like telling Jay to move so they can get the shot, and Jay scoots over and they record that shot. They're like, they're not hiding the fact that they are producing him, and you people think it's real. Kudos to the WWE. Like, you are so invested in your opinion that you're ignoring the fact that the camera guy literally told him to move to get that shot.
I wish I had never spoke a lot to that really smart man you're talking about, because I start seeing things like that now, and I'm like, damn it. And that's just because I've been smartened up so much, of the ways that things going on. And when you see the ref, they're down on the mat, and the referee comes over to him to check on them, and then you see him whispering something to him too. It's crazy, man. It's crazy, and WWE is making it work for everybody. You're getting a phenomenal program, in my opinion. What is there to complain about?
Listen, I get it. Hey, you want to complain about ticket prices? You want to complain about you got to have too many services to watch all of the WWE stuff? Listen, until the numbers come out. And by the way, here's the other part: we're complaining about viewership and numbers because we went through it with Netflix, we went through it with Peacock. We're going with whatever. If Peacock's happy with the viewership they get out of Saturday Night Main Event, even if the number's only 1.2 million or 1.5 million, whatever the number is, if they get that and they're happy with it, then I think we're all just pissing into the wind, right? Like, we're making an argument, and they're like, hey, they're only 1.5 million watched, and Peacock's like, yeah, 1.5 billion.
Which is pretty much the only non-football stuff to watch on Saturday night besides.
Sure, there were football games galore on at that point, and
you had and
there were good ones on. There were good ones on, for that matter. I mean, I think Oklahoma, Tennessee was playing at that moment at 2 ranked SEC teams. I mean,
yes.
Over on the ESPNs of the world or whatever. So, but anyway, I don't know. I think they're probably happy. Just like, Netflix, their other, partner that they're working with. And, look, we've understood this. Like, the Warner Brothers story just shifts every week.
I was telling my wife these like things, and I was reading news, and I'm explaining. She's like, what are y'all talking about that so much for? Why are you doing so much research on television deals? Because of this. This is where it's at.
It does end up affecting potentially, right? Like, so Netflix is, has basically put it out there. They've hired a bank to help them in, exploring the process of the potential of making a bid for Warner Brothers Discovery. Why do we care? Well, obviously Netflix is partnered with WWE. They're the home of Raw and everything across the globe. Warner Brothers Discovery, it's the home and the partner of AEW, their biggest competitor. So we ask the questions of like, hey, if they were to buy this, would it or does it affect absolutely in any shape, form, or fashion the AEW situation where they're partnering with TBS and TNT or whatever? But all of the stuff coming out there is they're really only interested in the studio and the streaming divisions. Okay, that could affect to some degree AEW when it comes to the streaming situation. Look, no interest in CNN, TNT, probably TBS, HD, etc. All their other remote channels,
legacy networks or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. So now Warner's got other Paramount, Skydance. They're in the mix. They're trying to buy it, but we're going to focus because we talked a little bit about the Paramount situation, but now let's focus in on why. Like again, because I think if Paramount gets it, zero effect, none whatsoever on AEW, right? There's no conflicts or whatever. Although technically you could make the case for Paramount just paid $1 billion to partner with the UFC, who is also in the same parent company of TKO that is in with the WWE, so et cetera.
And these
Could
people
they or would they? Maybe.
These people are also dancing around with politics here. And they're trying to make deals that the politicians are going to approve, because there's lawsuits and there's things like that tend to affect these deals outside of your television ratings.
I don't know why I feel this way. Our, in-house counsel can probably listen to this and, message me and answer this question. For some reason, I have no background. I am not an attorney. I just feel personally, the whole monopoly situation, I think with Paramount Skydance, I think it's closer to that monopoly / situation than Netflix owning it. I don't even know why I feel that way. I just do. Because I think when we think Netflix, we just think streaming, and that's kind of it.
Yeah.
Whereas with Paramount, there's studios and also, then you're starting to literally merge multiple studios, the Viacom or whatever.
That television deal would be better for A&E, I think, to have more exposure like that. But if they space it all out and like you get this, well, if they lose HBO Max, they already have a deal with Amazon to stream their pay-per-view, so that's not that big a deal. That's easier for them. But the television
network,
weekly
TV.
That's the thing. If they just gut it, you get all the streaming, and who can have the television? Well, that might be a separate deal. Like maybe Paramount gets the television, but not the streaming. Are they going to piece this out? Are they going to sell it like a?
So that's been the rumor for a while, that if Warner Brothers was sold, it would be pieced out in different divisions and different people would buy it. Because specifically Netflix, the only thing they appear to be interested in legitimately is basically the studios and the streaming content. I don't even know that they care. Here's why I said all of this to get to the end to say I don't think it affects AEW pretty much at all. And the only reason I say that is I think what Netflix really wants, Harry Potter, the DC Universe, and the studios that make their movies, because they've always been about organically growing their subscription base. That's kind of what they look at. But I think now they're looking at like, hey, we can own this chunk and move it all. Like, the only $1 million question is, do they kill HBO Max if they buy that? Or it's like, but wait, if you don't own the studios, if you don't own the channels, you don't own HBO. But do you just say, hey, we're going to take, because we're buying the studios and the streaming portion, we're going to own Harry Potter, we're going to own the DC Universe, etc. So HBO Max loses those properties and those move to Netflix, but HBO Max itself still exists. And if they already tell you they don't want the channels, then I think AEW's still on HBO Max and HBO's still on, the AEW's still on TBS and TNT. Does that make any sense when you kind of piece it out that way?
Yeah, and I think something upcoming might have a stake in this, and how they handle this new program, the extended special you were telling me about. With the title.
Before there, I got one other question I want to ask you. There is something for me and you, I think, that outside of wrestling, and I want to hit on this because I think this is what might get into the way of everything. If Netflix owns Warner Brothers Studio specifically, what the hell does that do to theaters? Because does Warner Brothers, when if their studios get purchased, all those movies that they're making, do they go straight to Netflix and don't go to the theaters?
Oh God, that's a big deal, Nick, because movie theater business is dwindling. I rode by two, not on purpose, but I was the last weekend or two. I've passed by a bunch of movie theaters when we were out driving around, and there's nobody. Nobody in the parking lots.
Weirdly enough, because I listen to some movie podcasts and whatever. Weirdly enough, so October was bad. October was the first bad month of the year. The rest the year's been pretty good financially for box office across the board. It's been pretty good. But October was down compared. Now, granted, basically the 3 biggest movies of the month all shit the bed. Tron being one of the ones was one of the big, whatever. I'm not saying the movies were bad or good. I haven't seen them, so I'm not going to judge them. I'm just telling you from a box office standpoint, the numbers wise, October underperformed what they had hoped for. So we'll see what it is long term. That's my concern is like, listen, to be honest, we're both DC guys. I don't think, we want to see, me personally, I know you don't do it a lot. Superhero movies, I go to the theater and watch. I don't go much beyond that. I don't go for like biopics, documentary, none of that, even dramas or whatever you want to call it. I don't go see those in the theater. But like Superman when it came out, at the theater.
Yeah.
Marvel movies come out, I go to the theater.
Well, with me in my limited transportation situation, I would have it would be something most likely the wife would want to see at the theaters. And she would want to go, and I'd go along with her. Me selecting a movie like that would be a hard time because I usually use all my time to go to wrestling. So getting her to take me along to a movie I want to see is lower than
I just randomly choose like a Wednesday at 10 a.m. and go see something at the theater like 5 minutes from my house, and so it's cool, and I am by myself most of the time. But I am intrigued. That part does intrigue me outside of wrestling. But back to the wrestling and where you were going. We tried to help you out, guys. We realized we record this thing on Tuesdays. It doesn't drop till Thursdays. Dynamite airs on Wednesdays. So instead of kind of trying to do the time warp machine and everything, we're actually going to jump ahead and look to the big show that's November 12th next week as of recording, right? Yeah. AEW's Blood and Guts is, it's a special from Greensboro. I really thought, man, we should write up for that, but it's a Wednesday.
The Greensboro Coliseum.
Yeah. They've extended it out.
That's on a Wednesday?
Wednesday Dynamite. Yeah, so Wednesday Dynamite, yeah.
Maybe possibility,
They've extended the time, so it's 2.5 hours on TBS, HBO Max, specifically here in the States. It's the first time, by the way, that it's going to take place in the fall, not into the summer like normal. But it's kind of cool, but it's the first ever time they're going to do a women's version of Blood and Guts. If you're not familiar with the Blood and Guts, I know we got a lot of guys who listen to the show that are not necessarily big, weekly AEW people. Blood and Guts essentially, to me, is the truest version of War Games. It's even truer than what the WWE does. 2 rings, 1 giant cage with a top, no pinfalls, no disqualification. It's just literally submit or surrender after all of the guys are in there, just like the original War Games is meant to be.
In Greensboro. I mean, I don't know if the Greensboro Coliseum still exists, but this is a historic wrestling town with a historic wrestling event, which I think sounds great. The whole buildup is great, but they gave you an extra hour of television. Extra half hour television. When we get to Blood and Guts, can we cut back on the blood and the guts? Because
probably not. These matches have typically been pretty bloody.
But it's going to be on network television, Nick.
It's on TBS, man. It's on cable. It's not on network. It's cable TV.
That's the thing, though. When you do stuff like that, I'm not against Blood and Guts. But when you do these things where you have people bleeding all over your television set, it's not going to do a lot for any media deal. Like, some studios looking at them and they're like, well, I definitely don't want that if that's what they're going to put on their legacy channels.
Here's the thing, though. Does it, though? Because lately I've been having the conversation with somebody specifically in the know there, and I was kind of like, let me push back a little bit. I saw, somebody was trying to argue online. I saw this social media post, and I thought this was a good conversation for us. They've put out all the pay-per-view buy rates for AEW over the last year or whatever, and the numbers were pretty substantial, 125, 110, whatever. And somebody argued, how can those numbers even be legitimate when they're only getting 427 people or 427,000 people or, watching a Dynamite on a weekly basis and, with this new format showing there's true. Well, first of all, the HBO Max numbers ain't on there. We'll find out how many people are watching that, in the next year. Maybe it is 600,000. But do you know what they do? AEW does something so much better than anybody else. They take their audience. And by the way, I say this in a positive way. It's going to sound negative, but I call their hardcore base sickos. Like they are all in. This is
Oh,
what
they're going to buy every
no
pay
pun
per view,
intended.
and they're going to watch every minute of every pay per view.
They do. They sell pay-per-views. Ready for this, folks? Shocking statement, hot take. AEW sells pay-per-views better than anybody to their
And they don't
base.
sell them to me.
Yep.
They sell them to their fan base.
Yep.
They give their people what they want repeatedly. It's almost like they were doing market research and coming up with perfect.
As Jey Uso might say, let's go back to your point about the blood and guts on TV on Dynamite. Their fan base will turn out. They're going to watch this because they know what they expect and they know what they're going to get. And here's the thing. I always come back to, we talk out of our asses sometimes. We don't know how happy Warner Brothers Discovery is with the TBS TV deal with AEW, the TNT portion of it, with the HBO Max. We have no idea. So they may be 100% down with this, and they may be a partner in the long run, because we just talked about Netflix has no interest in the channels. So they may be catering to their base, which caters to their diehard consistency on their, this is the viewership that's going to get, this is our base. But HBO Max specifically now getting a portion of the pay-per-views, with it being on HBO Max, is even more of an invested partner. May not give two shits if there's blood everywhere.
As long as it hooks their audience. You just want to hook your
pay-per-views, keep your base coming in every week. We don't care.
Because, people get really excited about, I probably see more people online that are AEW fans that are fervent supporters about every time a big pay-per-view comes out, because they're not going to get the WWE 4 or 5 match pay-per-views. The Saturday night main event size pay-per-views, which I enjoy because, I've got the attention span of a gnat. But do they still have, where are the Braves at? The Braves play on TBS?
No.
Wow. So they don't have the Braves, which was always...
that deal's been gone. Yeah, they don't.
So they need something. They need a sports. They need
it.
Hey, look, it's on. If you go to the ESPN's page, you go to Sports Illustrated, WWE and AEW reported on there like sports. So
Triple H said it. WWE is mainstream, and whether people want to hate what I'm about to say, they're dragging the rest into it as well.
Well, yes, the thing is, though, it's jillions of dollars to get a TV contract to put on the NFL, but you can get wrestling for cheaper.
Yep,
even as expensive as the WWE and some of these TV and AEW TV deals are. They're a drop in the bucket compared to the TV deals for professional sports like football and baseball.
Yeah, and look, you're going to get two blood and guts matches. The women win. We're not going to go specifically into all of them. There's the men's win, obviously, that involves the Death Riders. Big story coming out of that, obviously, is, are they ready to implode? Is Moxley going to be booted out? Who knows? Time will tell. Check it out Wednesday on the 12th. Blood and Guts on it. TBS / they will be there. HBO Max. Pick one, anyone, and you get an extra half hour. You get a borderline pay-per-view on TV. This upcoming week. So
hey, I'm going to watch it.
Absolutely. It's on. Why not? That's what HBO Max is for in my house. That's everything as far as the national stuff. Let's, of course, now, before we get out of here, let's jump into the car, hit the gas, and let's make the drives and look ahead to this upcoming weekend, to all the shows here in Georgia wrestling. And let's start right up the road from us. Watkinsville, Georgia, One Fall Wrestling. Brady Booker will defend the One Fall championship against Jimmy Wild. Should be fun. QT Marshall and Shoot Taylor. QT put a post out. Check it out on social media. He's excited for this match. If QT Marshall's up for the match, it's going to be a fun match to say the least.
One of the
Tyler
greatest.
Shoop and Drago. Yeah.
This is a great card, Nick. This is a great card. This right here, proximity, easy to get to, great venue. Great matches. We're going to see what Jimmy Wild has. We're really going to see what Jimmy Wild has.
Yep. And look, I think we're going to head to this show probably on Friday. This will probably be the one where we're at, right up there, because it's about 45 minutes up the road from me, a little further from you because you got to get over here. But should be a fun show. So hopefully we'll see you guys out at Watkinsville Friday. Bell time is 7 p.m. as usual. Action Wrestling, they will be back in Fayetteville at the Lion Creek Brewing Bus Barn. So far, as of recording, there's only 2 matches already announced. It is Tim Bosby will defend the Action Championship against Jamison Shook. That one should be a good match. And Cody Manhorn will take on Spectre. You've been to the Lion Creek Brewing Bus Barn. I have not. You've talked about a little bit about that venue. How cool is that?
It's cool. It's got food. It's got beer. Whatever you want to do. And the thing about Action, they really don't have to announce as many matches as some people have to do to push a card, because they've got a great fan base, and the card's going to be full of phenomenal matches. It's going to be your heavy wrestling centric card. If you want to see some of the hottest talents in indie wrestling start making their bones, this is where it's at, man. I like it. I always love going to their shows.
Yeah, Action Wrestling, top to bottom, one of the best in the state. They are fully aware that what they're doing down there. I still find it very intriguing that we don't see Matt Sells on these the boozer weight on these brewing shows. Ask Matt Sells about that. Also on Friday, SCA, they will be back at the Royston Dome. The bell time is 8 p.m. At the last show we saw, because they took a week off, Scott Mason attacked Ashton Martin after he had defeated him, and the Georgia Heritage Champion ran out and made the save. Is Hunter going after Scott Mason, or is Scott Mason going after Hunter James? Question mark.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to have Hunter James in my faction right now. I don't. He's all over the board as far as that goes. He would be least picked at dodgeball for me as far as my wrestling faction.
Luke Da Silva, he defeated Alexander Lev at the last show. Richard Page came out, gave him a business card. Question is Richard Page looking to grow Greatness Inc. even more? However, is Alexander Lev, is he going to look for the rematch against Da Silva in the future? So I know you're, not the biggest Richard Page guy, but listen, if he picks up another champion and, he picks up one Lucas Da Silva, the SCA champion, it's another feather in his cap, Myron. You got to give him
I'm going to be so pissed off if Rick Page gets into any kind of nomination for Georgia Awards for Manager of the Year. This has been absolute trash. This man is just a horrible individual, and he does not deserve to be in any kind of nomination for Wrestling Manager of the Year.
I push back. He absolutely does deserve to be in the conversation. Everything he's pulled off at SCA, everything he's pulling off down at Premier All-Star, putting Greatness Inc. in multiple promotions now, putting him as champions in multiple promotions. Give him his flowers, Myron. I don't know what else to tell you. Look, I don't like his tactics, but you have to, give the devil his due at times.
What do you think? He's Paul Heyman?
So who's the next Friday night champion, right? Nick Halen. He defeated Stevie Ray Frost. They're going to be a rematch, or do we get, stepping off into the future? Does Nick Halen get a new, competitor? That's the advantage or the disadvantage of being the Friday night champion. Pretty much every Friday night you're defending that title, so we'll have to see what's next up at SCA for Nick Halen. Again, that is in the Royston Dome. Bell time is 8 o'clock on Friday. Big, huge show on Saturday, November the 8th. WrestleMerica down in Forsyth, Georgia. A very unique match. It's the Golden Opportunity is the name of the show. It's a fatal 4-way match for the WrestleMerica and the Liberty Championship. KJ Impala, he is your WrestleMerica champion. Bryce Cannon, he is your Liberty champion. Well, also it's a 4-way match that also includes Sal Rinauro and Luka Daniels. The unique thing is the first fall will be for the Liberty Championship. After that happens, the second fall will then be for the WrestleMerica Championship. We could see 2 new champions in one match, or even wilder, Myron, we could have one person become both champions if they can pick up consecutive falls, and that's a huge opportunity for everybody.
It's a good booking for the show. I really like it, and it's a packed card, man.
Also on the card, Dax Anthony's going to take on Hunter James. Michael Stevens and Shane Curtis are going to take on Hayden Seal and Michael Walker. Kelly Clark versus Bobby Moore. Pat Roach is going to take on Jacob Johnson. Don't sleep on that match. That absolutely could steal the show down there. And Christian Taylor, the wild man himself, he will take on Ashton Martin as well. So pretty loaded card top to bottom. But I think all eyes are, kind of focused and locked in on, are we going to get 2 champions, one new champion for both titles? Time will tell down at WrestleMerica. Can't miss show on Saturday at Forsyth, Georgia.
Yeah. I'm watching a lot of promos, indie wrestling promos lately. Has anybody got it on Christian Taylor? Doing the work outside of the promotion, doing the work on his own, taking time to cut these promos and build a character outside. It's something I believe more people should be doing what he's doing. He's
You
hooking
would think.
people on his own time, not while he's there and getting an envelope. He's doing it on his own time. That's a value added bonus.
Yeah. It's investing in his character, right? Investing in the character.
Yes.
Also on Saturday, by the way, in Ranburne, Alabama, BullPen Pro Wrestling. The bell time is 7:30 p.m. Central Time. Want to make sure that everybody understands that is because it is in Alabama. Dante Diamond and the Wonder Boys will take on Rebirth, which is Zach Buchanan, Trey Jordan, and Ryan Wendell in a monster six-man. Zach Buchanan, huge impact in bullpen. Absolutely, not sure what's going on with the young man, but hopefully we get some retribution out of that. JT Paradox has an open challenge for the TV title there. Got to see the young man at Southern Fried this past weekend. Listen, I'm not being partial. I'm a massive JT Paradox fan. Grillo picked up a win.
Oh.
Maybe he answers the open challenge and heads over to bullpen. I know he's busy on Saturday, but I'm just saying. But wouldn't it be cool if he showed up there and say, hey, I beat you last week at Southern Fried. Why don't you give me a TV title shot here over in Ranburne, Alabama?
2 weeks in a row, man.
Xavier Cross going to take on Lamar Phillips. Chris Gaines is going to take on Brother Azrael. By the way, and I say this with the craziest, parts of respect here, Brother Azrael making a resurrection here after, going through a scary situation there a while back. It's cool to see him here at Bullpen. He's at Premier. He's obviously at Pro South over there. It's cool to see him getting more and more places and opportunities across. So shout out to Brother Azrael. Yep. Xander Oryx taking on Kyle Gunner. Rob Adonis will defend the Southern Heavyweight Championship against BK Bennett. And Joe Wood and Alexander Lincoln, known as Bloodborne, is going to take on Cody Wyndham and Jacob Ashworth, which is a huge monster-sized team if you have not seen these two side by side.
Oh.
And last but not least, Showtime Damon Thomas returns to Alabama and is going to kind of talk about his future there at BullPen Pro Wrestling. Also on Saturday, Nerd U, they will be running in Cornelia, Georgia. The bell time is 7 p.m. Load up, guys. This is a monster card. King of the North match. Nick Halen will take on CT Keys. That should be an absolute just show stealer at the top of the card.
Definitely.
Chris Del Rey will defend the GWF Middle Georgia Championship against Cliffhanger Chris. Trevor Blackwell and Dennis Glass will go 2 out of 3 falls. Matt Sells versus the dude, Bobby D. There's a Deadpool match that is Jason Esquire versus Michael Solar versus Chris Del Rey versus Matthew Mercer, and Tower, all in a complete chaos. You're going to have to see how this plays out as they kind of move toward where they are going into the future. Lots of situations going on with Matt, with Matt Westlake and Jason, fighting over, and Jamie Holmes is involved. They're trying to fight off Jamie Holmes and all this kind of stuff. So we'll kind of have to see how this plays out here in the future. Hopefully Jason and Matt can, fight off Jamie Holmes. Dawson Walker's going to be in the house. Crystal Rose, the champion, she will be in the house. Azrael, Curtis Coleman, Jaden Vane, etc., and more, all there. Check out Nerd U Championship Wrestling in Cornelia. The bell time is 7 p.m. Also on Saturday, last but not least, Solid Rock Championship Wrestling presents WrestleFest, the 10th anniversary there in Thomasville, Georgia. It's an anti-bullying event. It's a car show. It's a carnival. It's a wrestling show. Kind of all just, all the above. It's kind of an all-day thing with the wrestling kicking off around 5:30 p.m. The Good Brothers are going to be in the house, so get to do a meet and greet with those guys. Go
cool.
down there, get some pictures. Yep. Missy Hyatt's going to be there. Leilani Kai, who, by the way, just signed, from my understanding, a WWE Legends deal, so she'll be in the house. So get you a good meet and greet there. Support good cause, have fun at the car show, have fun at the carnival, and then, hey, go check out some wrestling while you're there. And it's all in the afternoon, so you'll be out of there, home before it gets too late. Sunday, 2 big shows going on and kind of basically borderline at the same time. One Fall Wrestling in McDonough, bell time 5 p.m. That is their TV taping, so obviously no major announced matches as of the time we're recording. But if it's TV tapings, it's going to be fun. You're going to get a lot of value out of your time when you go down there. That bell time is 5 p.m. 1FWLive.com. If there's any tickets available by the time you're listening to this, you might want to jump on there and grab some to make sure you get some.
Might be my favorite wrestling venue, Nick. I mean, their studio there, the Dalton Carpet Studio, might be my favorite wrestling venue right now in Georgia.
It's massive, and they filled it out. They've done a great job of turning that into very much their TV studios. Also on Sunday, Kraken Pro Wrestling. They're going to be down there at the Tifton at the Chino and Letty's place. Super cool venue. Before I get started, if you have not seen it, super entertaining. Get with Kraken. They've got some VIP style tables, that they have up on a platform. There's
charcuterie.
Obviously,
with charcuteries.
Yeah.
Like a charcuterie. Get Kraken, guys. That sounds like a great deal.
Oh, I agree, man. It's very much a venue you need to check out. One of the better venues across the state of Georgia. There will be a meet and greet with Doc Gallows, but the headline is The Business. Dominik Stuckey, Lamar Diggs, Jazz, Josh Breezy, and Justin Case. They're going to face off against the team with the left-hand path, Austin Towers, Eric Silva, Kraken champion Trevor Aon, the sweeper Jack Miles, and DJ Lee in a big 5-on-5 elimination match. This thing's been brewing, and we kind of know. Hopefully we get a blow-off, but somehow tells me win, lose, or draw, the business is going to stay in business, as there's always going to be a problem there at Kraken Pro Wrestling. That's all the shows that, for the upcoming weekend that we have info on. So we, hopefully, man, get out there and support these shows. Yes. Buy a ticket, whether it's, you can reserve them ahead of time. Go places like One Fall, 1FWLive.com. You can go buy your tickets early. Make sure you're guaranteed to get one. But it's not, look, these are all over the state, man. There's no reason you can't catch a show this upcoming weekend. But it's not just about Georgia, because we get it. Look, we got people that watch us all over the place. On our Patreon, patreon.com/tappedoutpod. Every single week, I try to post on there Phil Stamper's list. Credit 100% to Phil Stamper.
Yes.
Not my list, his list that he takes the time to put together, and we share it there only because it's too long to put anywhere else. Literally, it's too many characters for anywhere else, so I put it on our Patreon page. That's, again, one of the perks of being a free member. That is there every week, where it shows you the shows. That's
a no-brainer.
All over the country.
And,
yeah, and we already told you at the top of the show all the other benefits you're going to get if you're a paid member. Like Myron says, dip your toe in the water, get a free account, see what they're, because you're going to see all the posts that you're not going to be able to have access to, but you'll see, so if I pay this much, I get this, this, and this, and this.
Yes.
But again, it always comes down to, in my opinion, Myron, $25. $25.
Yes.
Autographed 8.5 by 11 every single month, sometimes 2. And then you're going to get all the benefits across the board. Completely worth the value. Anybody and everybody who that gets this every month raves about it and thinks it's
yes.
And again, 2 from Cruel last month well exceeded the value. He's just the MLW champion, right? Like it was, and we pulled that one off. So I think it's there. We're partial. I say that up front. We are partial, that we think the value is 100% there, but that's why you should be a member. Patreon.com/tappedoutpod.
Definitely.
Big week, dude. Lots of stuff going on. Bunch of shows this weekend. Hopefully, we talked about the making the drives. Friday, as of right now, our plans are to be at the Watkinsville show, the One Fall show. Saturday, I am out of pocket. Family friend retirement party, so I got to go to that. Actually, didn't say go to that. We're hosting that, so I'm not going anywhere. I'll be here setting up all day on Saturday, so no show for me on Saturday. And my plan as of right now is to head down to the TV taping, on Sunday as well. So hopefully we'll, have a couple opportunities to catch the people out and about this weekend.
Sounds great, man. Sounds like a great plan.
Well, man, that's everything I've got this weekend. Is anything else you got before we get out of here?
Spoke to Abdullah the Butcher on Thursday, so it'll be a week before you get this find out, and he is doing better. It's good to hear. He had those strokes, but he is doing better. Hopefully we will hear some more news soon.
Absolutely. Shout, thoughts, prayers out to Abdullah, and hopefully he, kicks out and he's back in the saddle again pretty soon. So anything else, buddy?
No, sir.
What's the old saying, man? If I've got nothing and you've got nothing, what time is it?
It's time to tap out.